March 12th, the important CPI announcement and what it means for you. I have all the details and exactly what you need to know right here in the video. Let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to discuss March 12th and an important announcement that will be released. Now, this is a data point that we get once per month, and it is the CPI announcement, otherwise known as the Consumer Price Index or inflation data, and it gives us a glimpse into what inflation is doing for the previous month. In this case, this will be the February inflation data, and again, it's going to let us know what is going on with the economy. Has the Federal Reserve succeeded with raising interest rates and bringing down inflation, or what is going on here and why this data point is so incredibly important, especially for you, the American people? I want to bring this to your attention, and especially if you are a low-income or fixed-income beneficiary, this is also something we want to continue watching very closely because, remember, in just a few months from right now, we're going to start gathering those data points that'll directly impact your Social Security or fixed-income benefit check. Therefore, it's probably pretty important. Let's get into it and talk about the details and what we can anticipate on March 12th with this announcement. Really fast before we do, thanks for joining me. If you have not done so yet, make sure to do yourself a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button right down below the video. It is totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side every single day, watching the latest details, hitting the wire, doing all the research, and bringing it to your attention right here in these short videos as things are changing very rapidly. We know it's already been a pretty busy year so far. There's not even that far into the year so far, and things are happening pretty fast. And again, as we continue to move closer and closer to November, as I've said for many months now, it's going to get busier and busier and busier. And the announcements, the bills, the packages, proposals, the amendments, things like this coming out and being introduced are going to get more intense and possibly impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, and your bank account. So again, I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be to keep you informed, to advocate on your behalf, and again, to be here right by your side here in this community. So again, please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Totally free to do so. And again, feel free to share the video with your friends from social media. All right, let's get into it. Thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate literally every one of you here in this community. And let's get into it and talk about the CPI, Consumer Price Index, inflation data, and what this all means for us as of right now. What is going on with inflation? What is going on with the Federal Reserve, who is basically the leprechaun behind bringing inflation down, maybe or maybe not, or bringing inflation up. There's a lot of different details. There's a lot of theories and conspiracies about this, but let me bring you the details about this. Now, for the last several months, we've been seeing inflation pretty much plateauing. It has not been doing a whole lot. It has been moving lower a little teeny tiny bit, marginally lower. It is not moving very fast at all. Now remember, back in June of 2022, we saw inflation top out at 9.1%. That is nutso. That is very high, right? Well, as a result of that, inflation has been coming down a little teeny tiny bit. Now, it's been taking a very long time. Now remember, around that same time when inflation was peaking back in early 2022, so a couple years ago now, right? Almost 2 years ago, we heard out of people like Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve. We heard out from Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary. People like this coming out and saying, don't worry, everybody, inflation is transitory. It'll be gone in no time whatsoever. Well, here we are basically 2 years later, and we're still seeing inflation very high, right? Relative to where they want it. They want inflation to be sitting at 2%. We're not at 2%, not even close, right? So as a result of that, they were completely wrong with their anticipations of transitory inflation. Sorry, wrong, not even close, right? We know that inflation is still very high right now. However, let me point out the details as far as what we can expect on this. Now, we've been seeing the efforts out of the Federal Reserve where they've been pumping up interest rates, making things very expensive. If you've been borrowing money on a credit card or opening up new loans like an auto loan, a mortgage, a home equity line of credit, a home equity loan, the list goes on and on, right? If you're doing anything that requires any type of debt or borrowing money, you're paying very high interest rates right now. I'm going to tell you this much. I have some balances on credit cards. They're pretty high, okay? Interest rates on credit cards are not fun to pay. They're like 22.5%, 23% right now. That is very not fun. I'm just telling you, okay? Interest adds up very quickly. When you have a balance on a credit card, sitting there racking up 22.5% interest, time over time, okay? That's it adds up fast, okay? Don't get yourself into that position if you can help it, just saying from experience, okay? But my point is, as a result of this, we need to continue watching, and this latest report that will be released on Tuesday is going to tell us exactly that, March 12th, okay? As a result of this, we'll be getting the inflation data for the month of February. It's always the month prior, okay? We generally get it around the middle of the month, and it happens to be the 12th this time, but we're going to get that inflation data for the month of February, letting us know what happened, okay? What is going on? Is this inflation coming down still? Is it holding steady? Has it plateaued? Is it going up? That's a thing too, right? Remember, just because they've raised interest rates aggressively, they printed $6 trillion, all kinds of details like this, just because all of this has been taking place for the last couple of years here, does not necessarily mean that inflation always has to go down. It can start going back up again, and it can go back up pretty aggressively as well, right? Now remember, we need to continue watching the economy very closely as well. I know I've been saying this for a very long time. I know. I see the comments down below saying, oh, you've been saying this for years. Well, yeah, I have been saying this for years. The reason being is it's very important. Do you think if the economy gets whacked tomorrow that they're just going to sit there and be like, well, sorry, the economy just got a little, a little whacking and all is good here? No, they're not going to do that. They're going to print up money. They're going to print up money just like they've done for the last several decades here. And what are they going to do? They're going to plow the money into the economy and call it stimulus, or they're going to call it Operation Twist, or they're going to call it the CARES Act, or the HEROES Act, or the American Rescue Plan, or the Inflation Reduction Act. They're going to call it some joke of a bill. And they're basically going to plow money into the economy like they've done so many times over the last couple of decades, okay? So my point is, we need to continue watching the economy. When they plow money into the economy like that, money moving creates inflation. Money changing hands creates inflation. They could print up $100 trillion tomorrow. It's totally fine. They can do that. But if they start moving that money, that is when the inflation takes place. When it starts changing hands, that's when the inflation takes place. If they start printing up all the money in the world tomorrow, that doesn't matter. It's not going to create inflation. When the money starts moving, that is when inflation takes place, okay? So my point is, these inflation data points are very, very important. Like I said earlier, if you are a fixed income beneficiary, somebody receiving fixed income benefits administered by Social Security, then you want to continue watching these data points, okay? Even though right now it's a little bit early, in the next few months here, it's not that far away. In the next few months here, July, August, and September, I know it sounds like, oh, that's so far away. It's not. It's not that far away, right? Starting in July, and then obviously for August and September, those 3 months and the inflation data is going to give us a better reading on what's going to be happening with your monthly checks for 2025, as in the COLA, okay? Very important stuff. Now, here's the thing. If we start to see inflation ticking up now and moving higher now, what do you think it's going to be in 3, 4, 5 months? Well, it's going to be higher, right? It's going to be higher. As a result of that ticking up, it may land more money in your pocket as a result of the COLA next year for 2025, which, yes, by the way, that is a long time away, okay? But the 3 months that we gather this data from, it's really not that far, right? I mean, here we are. We're practically in spring already. Oh, thankfully, right? Seriously, not a fan of the winter. Okay, my point is, as a result of that, we're not that far away. We're not that far away from spring, and then once we pop into summer, we're only like days away from getting that inflation data that are going to directly impact your monthly check. So, long story short, when this data point comes out, we'll have to continue to see, but we've seen a history of this happening here, and especially considering the context of this year, election year, by the way, right? Do you think that they're maybe going to cook the books a little bit and say, oh, inflation is coming down rapidly. We're doing a great job. Give us a pat on the back and, oh, by the way, give us a vote as well, right? We will see what happens. But there's a history of cooking the books on election years, and we'll have to see what happens here. But we already know that these numbers are probably not all that accurate in the first place, but either way, it gives us a baseline to continue watching on a monthly basis. That's the point. Whether they're accurate or not, it gives us the baseline. That is the important point. Does that make sense? So either way, let's continue watching here. Tuesday, the 12th, is the date in which we're going to be getting this announcement. I'll bring that information to you, and we'll dig through the report to see what is really going on with inflation. Is it really going down, or are all the prices still going up? Like what we continue to see on some sectors, especially what fixed income beneficiaries spend their money on, like healthcare, transportation, housing, copay, well, sorry, not copays, I meant healthcare premiums. Again, list goes on and on, right? So energy prices, utilities, things like, oh, food is a big one as well, right? That's another really big one as well. So Anyway, long story short, this is the CPI data release. We'll be getting this, and again, it's going to be very important economic data point. We'll need to continue watching very closely going forward. So anyway, if you have not done so, make sure to subscribe down below. I'll be here for you every single day, watching the details like this and breaking it down into these short videos. So share the video with your friends, family, social media. There's a share button right down below. Go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel, including those that I have linked down below in the description or at the top of the comments section, pinned there as well. Otherwise, enjoy your day. Leave a comment, question, feedback down below, and have a good one. I'll catch you again later in the next video. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you again soon.